Ideally, we plant the beet seeds directly to the ground, but for those of us, such as myself, who cannot wait for the weather to come, or rather the warm weather to come, we start our seeds indoor, and that's what I do. And I have to admit that there are times when I'm careless transplanting, and I could expect a much smaller beets than I should be harvesting. But if we're careful, we should be able to get a reasonably good amount of harvest from transplanted beets. And if nothing at all, we definitely can have a good greens out of it. But this is how I basically transplant my beet seeds. Okay, so I started it in this 100% peat moss cell right here. And as you can see, at this stage, it's still a bit chilly outside. I'm expecting a little, another cold spell, and so I will not, this is not dying, it's just that it has overgrown the cell. I like to give it a little help by giving it a little opening. See, there's not much root there yet, so you're not destroying or harming the plant. And if it does have roots starting to come out, like some of the ones that I already transplanted, what I do is I just very, very carefully kind of loosen it up and, you know, weaken some areas, okay, so that the roots have a place to go without too much struggle. I will then, and as you can see, the disturbance to the root is very, very minimal, if any at all, with that kind of handling. I put a little bit of soil in there, maybe a little more. Let's add a little more. Okay, and we put the cell in. The cell is made out of 100% sphagnum peat moss. Okay, and kind of tap that to get the soil to go down. So we don't really want to pack it tight, not too tight, but nice and snug. Okay, so there it goes. See, as you can see, it really has outgrown the cell, but in about a day or two you will see it straighten up. Okay, so that's how I do it. And as you can see, here's one that I already had transplanted. They are starting to outgrow the cell which I planted the seeds into, and yet it's not quite warm warm enough to plant these seedlings directly to the ground. So the next best thing is to transfer it to a bigger pot. And I will do, oh, look at this one here. As another root. That's not actually root, that's another seed. What it decided to do is grow right through that little hole there, and that's a beet right there. That's not actually a root. And well, these two here, which are the last two beets, doesn't have any roots showing at all. But I had transplanted two with some roots already coming through that cells. But like I said, when that happened, just very, very carefully loosen up some areas, you know, kind of pinch it here and there without damaging any root at all, and go ahead and transplant it. Okay, in this case there are none sticking out through the cells, so it's quite safe. Now let's just go ahead and add some more soil. And I'll do the same thing to this one. Kinda. Okay. It's a actually this stage is a very good stage where the roots are not coming out through the cells yet. It's quite safe to transplant it. You are not damaging any root whatsoever. Now, transplanting outdoor might be a bit of a concern, because by that time come, some of the root might have been all over the pot, and you are concerned that you might damage it. Not really. Again, what you will do is water it good, water it very well, then kind of go around it and loosen it up. Then put this seedling in between your two fingers gingerly, and then you turn it upside down, give it a gentle tap until you feel the entire root ball loosen up. Then you pass it. You pass it and very carefully put it in the ground, which I suggest you have the hole on that ground ready for you to put these seedlings in, and then backfill it very carefully again. And as you can see, it's transplanted in a bigger pot. Now I will add a little more water. Now don't worry about it that it looks like it's droopy. It is not. Like I said, it has outgrown the cell, and therefore it's like, look at this one here. As you can see, they were all looking like that. That's the reason why I decided to transplant it into a bigger pot. But you can see this one is starting to stand up. Okay, once it feel a little more support, soil support that is, it will straighten itself up. Okay, and this I believe is the one that's got the root, which, pardon me, like I said, sometimes I like to do things, and I do things in a hurry. I forget to put in my camera, and then again something in the back of my head says, show it to your viewers how you do it. So I went ahead, stop what I'm doing, grab my camera, set it up, and showed you the last three that I was transplanting. But let me show you what I'm talking about with this beets. The one that I had transplanted before that I couldn't show you was like this. See that root there? It's starting to come out through the, right there. Not as much as this. This one is well advanced and a beautiful specimen right here. This is actually cauliflower. Probably will transplant this in a bigger container as well. And as you can see, it's got a very good root system going on. So this is right here, this beet is looking pretty much like that, with the roots starting to come out through the cells and like that. So what I simply do when I see that they're starting to come out like that is very gingerly, and the areas where you do not see the root, just kind of weaken that, you know, just pinch it. Just be careful. See, as you can see, I'm not hitting any root there. Just, I like to do that because even though I know that this will disintegrate eventually in no time at all, because the water will really weaken this pot, but I like to make sure that the plant root, the root will not have to struggle spreading itself out venturing out looking for more nutrient in the soil. So I like to give you a little help by doing that. Okay? Now you don't have to do that. I've seen people transplant their seedlings directly without messing with the peat pots or the cells, and did very well. It's just my way of doing things, especially with beets. I have to be very extra careful and give it a little more care. So that's how I do the beets. And as you can see, here are the beets the next morning. As I had promised, they will be upright by today. And there they are, looking quite happy and content with their bigger container, upright and looking quite strong and healthy. And as you can see, I have transplanted some of my cauliflowers and broccolis as well. And some eggplant. I did quite a few transplanting yesterday. As you can see, they're all there under the grow light, looking much happier than yesterday.